Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time this finds you on this fine Saturday, October 28th day, in the year our Lord 2023. Uh-oh. Might have something going on. Hold on a second. Is this thing working? What, chat? What's up, Tad? All right. Uh-oh. Am I getting choppy? Choppy. You guys hear me okay? Loud and clear. Thank you very much. Hold on a second. Just like blasting these out. All right, Augie, impeccable timing, my cat. Anyways, how's everybody doing? If it sounds like I'm a little like my the tone of my voice is a little weird, it's because I'm getting over a frickin' con crud. Thanks, Gamehole Con. Good to see everybody. Holy cow! Sorry I missed you last week. I did miss everybody. Sincerely. So Roger was the first to be here. Good morning, Roger. M. Catron, Joe Harrigan, morning. I know Joe Harrigan's up at the bright crack of 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Blake, is it a little low? I could turn it up a little bit, maybe. How about now, buddy? Caverna, good to see you. Can't tell if Sean is choppy or if it's me. I had some issues. I should be done. Should be good now. I think it starts out a little choppy. I also load YouTube to see if it's coming up, and that screws things up. So, Michael Holland, good to see you. William Thorpe, good to see you. Wayne, good to see you. Did you pick up con card at the Comic Con Museum? I did not. This is a gift from my nephew who went out to San Diego, decided to pick me up this little shirt. I have not been there. Worried Augie finally took me out. Yeah. Good volume. Thank you. Katron. Good morning. Phil, good to see you. Orange RPG. Welcome. Tiffany, good to see you. Good crowd today. So, I don't have a question prepared. I don't know what I'm doing. Believe it or not. I've been doing this for over 2 years, I think, now, if you can believe that. Most of you have tuned in to almost every one. And if you have, hey, achievement unlocked. I got to check on Augie. Just a second. Okay, I think I'm in the clear. All right. So, was the best Halloween adventure you've ever played? Let's do it, Caverna. We'll go this way because I don't know if everybody plays Halloween. maybe the question should be, why doesn't Sean have a question prepped? That would be interesting. Fill in the blank. Favorite con memory. Look at you guys coming up with them. How about the Halloween? Since it's Halloween themed, tis the season. If you run a Halloween game, what is the Halloween game that you run? Scenario, game, blah, blah, blah. How long have you been doing it? If you haven't delved into running a horror-themed game during the season, but you wish you could, what game would it be, and what maybe what scenario? And then ask yourself, how come you're not doing it? Ben Wyatt. Wow. Parks and Rec royalty. Good to see you. Good to see you, Ben. Just kidding. How come I never heard of that? How come I never referenced that sooner? Ben, this is your first time here? Hoos, good to see you. Hoos is early. 6 a.m. Hoos time. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. See, he just needed a little Gamehole Con taste in person. And now he's like, I got to roll out of bed. I got to grab a cup of Joe. Ooh, sweet. You know, what I should do with this vanilla Coke. Gabe Dibbing, are you around yet? In this vanilla Coke, I do appreciate it drinking straight out of the bottle. But what would be better is if I drank it out of my new glass. My Star Trek Strange New Worlds glass. Gifted to me by Miss Gabe Dibbing, I think, for the most part. So I want to express a thank you to her. This was provided from Gabe at GameholeCon to me. Although I have to admit, I have two. I didn't expect to have matching ones, but here I have two, and I think I'm gonna have to send this back. Gabe left this behind, and I told him I picked it up so it wouldn't get lost from the soiree Saturday night, and so I'm going to have to send this back to Gabe, because then I feel like we're of a brotherhood, if you will. And when we're playing Star Trek, because Gabe has secretly told me this is one of his favorite glasses, that he was crushed to find out that he had left it behind. It's in safekeeping, Gabe, just so you know. I got it for you. So there you are. I'll make sure it's returned to its rightful owner. Oh, you'll come and get it. Fantastic. Even better. Oh, that's what it was. Gabe's. This is Gabe's. What is it? Calling card, right? The left behind, giving him an excuse to come and get it, right? I got it. That's cool. Excellent. Hobbsy, good to see you. All right, back to the question du jour. Let's see. Where's my cursor? Wayne Peacock says, I ran a Vaesen game last night. My own scenario. The players brought it, and it was great. And it was epic. Blake continues. Monster of the Week. College folks going to Halloween party. Faye attempt to invade the same night when the veil between worlds is thin. Da-da-da. Nice. M. Catron. Scooby-Doo meets Ghostbusters. Do you really run that? What system do you run that in? I would be interested. Tim Jensen, good to see you, buddy. Best Halloween RPG? Dread. Ooh, I think 10 Candles might have something to say about that, Tim Jensen. Who's Time Warp, man? Who's is probably still on Central Time. That's why he's awake so early. Caverna says Dead Space using Alien RPG. Ooh. Joe Swick says there was a great scenario I downloaded from Drive-Thru RPG, which I think was called Happy Jack's Carnival, which was really good. It's a 5e module, and it was a lot of fun to run. It wasn't a lot of run to run. It could have been a lot of run to run. Nice glass. Thank you, Victor. I often get that compliment. Only because of Gabe and Miss Dibbing. Mrs. Dibbing, I should say. I don't know if that's her last name. Anyways. Tad says, a few years ago, we played Grace Under Pressure with Call of Cthulhu rules and 2 keepers and 2 locations in our house. Main C Lab and mini sub. A fantastic experience. Very good. Very good. Tiffany says, I don't know how to do Halloween games, but I have tradition of doing a Twisted Christmas / New Year's game based on the game I'm running at the time. That's fair. Holiday game nonetheless. Question is, do you run a Halloween game? If you do, what is the game system? What's the scenario? How often have you been doing it? And if you don't run a Halloween-themed game or seasonal game, but you would, what would it be? The system, the scenario. Morning, Orcus Dorcas. D6, huh? Mktron. Is that D6 as in like WEG D6? Michael Holland says, one year we ran a World of Darkness GM round robin. Each GM ran the game for 1 hour, and then we switched. The next GM would build on the story and progress. So much fun. I'm going to force start the Discord event. It doesn't start? That's strange. Yeah, go ahead and do that, Laramie. Thank you. Whoop. Harrigan says, I've never run or played in a Halloween game, despite All Hallows Eve being a special day for me. So instead, I put horror into every other game I touch. Why is it a special day? Is it somebody's birthday, maybe? Anniversary? What's going on? Share. You elude. Share. Ryan says, I don't run seasonal games, but I think a Night's Black Agent or Delta Green Vampire the Masquerade Dusk Till Dawn scenario would be a lot of fun. I would concur. Caverna says, there is this grim dark adventure generator, 5e Merkborg mothership compatible called Genie on the bottle. Available on itch that would be great as a Halloween adventure. Mkatrad says, you're exactly right. WEG D6. Very nice. Harrigan says, Cthulhu Hack 2E shipped with a horror adventure. I plan on running this year, but it's not to be. Freg Kebab. I've run Halloween games the last 2 years using the Alien RPG. A fine choice. Welcome to the chat, Freg Kebab. Excuse me if I cough. God, con crud. Mark's Genre Mixer. Yeah, Mark. I ran several sessions of Crypt World for my friends for Halloween this year. Very nice. Crypt World. Not familiar. I'll have to check out Crypt World. Feel free to elaborate. Aye, birthday. Here again. Oh, mark your calendars, everybody. Very good. Jim, good to see you. Morning. Hobbs says, I'm like Harrigan. Almost every game I run has some more horror. Well, I mean, is the game horror based, or is it just playing in your game is just horror? Mr. Hobbs. Laramie says, this year at Game Home, I ran a game with pumpkins, fall, otherworld, undead, etc. Not technically Halloween, but a good adventure. and more clue-y than hacky. Got it. Orcus Dorcas is not a tradition, but I've run the Dare a couple Halloweens. Call Cthulhu for those who don't know. The Dare is awesome. Vintage RPG Podcast did a little thing on the Dare. I don't know if Orcus Dorcas and the Titterpigs have, but Vintage RPG, Stu Horvath, and Hambone McGuire talked a little bit about it. The cover's pretty cool. It's old, like 1980s era Call of Cthulhu. Supposedly, according to Stu, one of the first scenarios where you would play kids in an RPG. And the cover's got like, they look very familiar from behind, like the characters. Most of my groups never want to start Vampire till Halloween itself triggers the urge. Then we're running during Christmas. Joe Swick confirms. I know, like Halloween birthday, isn't that epic? Dude, that would be fantastic to have a birthday around Halloween. That's like a movie. It should be a movie. Blake says, for me, running out of vanilla Coke is horror. So you know the deal. You know the deal, Blake. I might have to put in a Ricola. So I'm gonna end up coughing like every few minutes. That's probably gonna be really annoying. Orcus Dorcas, running or playing in Cult or Delta Green throughout the year kind of makes running a horror game on Halloween moot. Fair. So Mark's Genre Mixer says Crypt World is a clone of the old Chill game by Goblinoid Games. So guys, check that out, Crypt World. Thanks, Mark. I think good old Ravenloft would be great as a Halloween game. I would agree. I would concur. Victor, always wanted to do a Halloween game, but I've never gotten the chance. It's never too late. It's still early. Got like 3 days. Yes, the cover to the Dare module, as Ryan West alludes to, is an homage to Charles Schultz. Frank Bob was planning to run one this year using Feng Shui, but real life has messed up my plans. I have also run a Christmas RPG using Paranoia. Have you done a Christmas-themed Paranoia game? That would be interesting. I am going to be running Music from a Darkened Room on November 4th for some folks from the Discord. Some of them are in the chat. So that'll be fun. It'll be my first Halloween-themed horror game. Delta Green, if you're not familiar, will be the rule set. So I have to do a little bit of prep. I've run it 3 times, but I haven't run it 3 times over and over. It's like once a year, and so it's a little. I gotta dust off the cobwebs, if you will. All right, it's good stuff. Good stuff. It almost sneaks up on me. Halloween does. Actually, it does sneak up on me every year. Like I always want to do something. I should have dressed up for the stream. That's what I should have done. For years, I don't have costumes. I've got one. I got 3 I could call a costume. The dude, the Big Lebowski, which I went to Game Con one year as. 1 year, Eddie Munson from Stranger Things. Went to Game Con 1 year dressed as Eddie Munson. And then my other one, I think I could just throw on a Star Trek shirt. I've got a couple Star Trek shirts that would probably do the trick. Can hold up a sign that says, I think I saw this on some late night show or something, where it's like, guy dressed up as Spock says like there's no intelligent life on this planet. Ryan West, only 57 shopping days till Xmas. Oh, God. Please. Don't. Because you know damn well after Halloween, those things are coming down, and Christmas stuff's going up. If you're looking for a holiday-themed adventure, check out Frog God Games. They even have an adventure for Arbor Day. Oh, God. Seriously? Arbor Day? Plant that tree. This has been a public service announcement. T2K with an alien invasion setting is a great option as well. It would be tough. That's kind of a tough one. I think you got to say, like, Halloween themed game. We're going to play Twilight 2000 and have the players. It's because you want to be like, we're going to play Twilight 2000 and that goes crazy or it goes south. So it's kind of a bait and switch. We've talked about that before. I don't know how I'd feel about it. All right, cool. Twilight 2000 be awesome. What is this? A vampire, huh? I don't know. Thanks for everybody for contributing. I'm sure we'll get a visitor here or there that will stop in and wonder what the question of the day is. To talk about. We've got some things to talk about. It's been out 2 weeks, right? So I've got some things that I usually have queued up, but some of you were at Gamehole Con with me. Some of you could not make it. That's okay. I will say this, it was excellent. I had a great time. I played, to kind of give you the rundown, I played the first day, I think if I have my days correct. Thursday, I kicked off with Savage Worlds, Goonies meets the Ghostbusters. I always used to call it Goonies versus the Ghostbusters. It's Goonies meets the Ghostbusters. It's by Carl Kiesler. Carl is there. If you don't know who Carl Kiesler is, you should know. He's a big Savage Worlds gamer. He's a graphic artist, real creative, and he just puts on a great game. Harrigan can attest to it. Harrigan has said, and quote, it's one of the best con games he's ever had. Okay, or gaming experiences, probably. I think he's even said. He did Cocaine Shark. So he ran 2 different games multiple times during the convention. Cocaine Shark and Goonies meets the Ghostbusters. And the Goonies meets the Ghostbusters he's been doing for a long time. I posted some pics up in our Discord. The character sheets he uses like the cardboard of a blister pack. So if a figure, I don't know, 3-inch figure came in a blister pack, he uses that. And the detail is crazy. Like he's got a price tag on it with a SKU. Like it's just phenomenal. If you see Carl Kiesler come to your convention, sign up for whatever he's running, if you can. If Cocaine Shark's full, get into Goonies meets the Ghostbusters or whatever else he's running. You'll have a good time. It's off the wall. Set pieces, and he knows the rules really well and just wants to have a good time. So go ahead and check that out. Second game was Knights Black Agents. I have not played Knights Black Agents before, so there's a theme during this convention. Knights Black Agents was okay. That was by Todd Olson. Todd's out of Minnesota. Great game master he does. I think he does quite a bit of Delta Green and Knights Black Agents, I think is his jam. Because the next day he was doing the fall of Delta Green, which is Gumshoe version of Delta Green. And good game master, knows it, knows the genre. He's run, I think he said at the table, he's run the Dracula dossier like 4 times. 3 times? 2, at least 3 times. So if you're not familiar with the Dracula dossier, that's a huge setting for NBA. Basically where Dracula, alternate reality where Dracula actually exists. And Bram Stoker's book is just propaganda made up by, I think, MI5 or the Edom Files to kind of throw everybody off. But one of the props is Bram Stoker's unredacted version of the book, like with liner notes and everything. Liner notes? It was good. I find these tactical type military based games an interesting one. Like anytime there's like a planning, a heist, we all know those games. Shadowrun's a big one. Here's your mission, and then the players sit around for 3 hours to contemplate how they're going to tackle it. Sean, if they just played Blades in the Dark, that would fix everything. That's why Blades in the Dark is so good, is because it eliminates that. Yes, true, sure, absolutely. And that wasn't the problem with our group. What I found was like, I think it's hard, especially at a con game, if you're not familiar with many of the players at the table, you don't know their backgrounds. You don't know how much they grok the game. If it's their first time, they've never, I don't know, I've heard about it, but I don't know much about it. I get into it. You know what? I come to realize it may be a Sean issue. Could be a Sean thing. Not especially, but being in the military, you kind of get a different perspective. And so you're like, why are we just walking up to this building? And when we have resources, we could just, like, we have infrared. We could get infrared to scan the building. And then somebody could, talk to us as we go in tactically. It just seems like disjointed. Like, it's like the Three Stooges trying to, like, plan a tactical operation on a warehouse, but nobody understands what that means. But you could watch movies, right? You can watch movies, get inspiration from movies, see movies that do it. Anyways, pack the table with people you know is Jim's advice. Not bad advice. So my character, put it this way, my character got overrun with rats to the point where I actually fell. Boom, dead. I think. I don't know. I don't know when you're dead in Night's Black Agents. I don't know if it's at 0, but I was less than 0. So I don't know if Todd, I don't think he pulled a punch, but I don't know. And then it was like a couple of the agents came in to where I was like fallen in the shed. And there was a discussion going on. And I'm like, hello, my body's on the floor. Like, I know you're talking to this guy, the gardener, as if nothing happened, but my body's been mauled by rats on the floor. It's just it was a weird reaction. It was almost like, he's dead. Okay. So anyways, and then it could just be my paranoia. I thought there was a few things that had come up that were a little table whispers. Because I go and after that, I do survive. The medic comes and helps me. My clothes are probably in tatters because my rats. And then a couple comments were made about me interviewing somebody. I would imagine I've just changed clothes. I don't know if I'd go and meet the next person to interview them looking all raggedy, but it was a good scenario. It was quick, kind of dirty, but it's always interesting because there's always like, I have this thing in my brain as a player that I'm going to do. And with a tactically operational kind of game, it kind of felt we had our stride in the mid game, I think, where it was like we have two or three choices. We all agreed that we're all going to do this choice. And then even one guy who is like, well, I'm going to hang back in town to investigate while we actually go to the manor for the main mission. I still tried to bring him in after we found out more details, and he wasn't going to uncover anything in town. So, anyways, it's just the battle of cons, right? Of running the con game. Um, as you guys talking about Hellboy. Let's see. Sounds good, William. GURPS. GURPS talk. Oh boy. Um, let's see. Friday, I had one game, and that was what did I play Friday? Must have been a banger. Twilight 2000, I think, or was that Saturday? No, I think Friday I played. Friday I played Tales from the Loop. I played Tales from the Loop, and it was good. Craig Brown, Madison native guy, good table. Oh, however, but I may kind of spur a discussion around this, okay? Because we had, as you probably know, Tales from Loop, Free League Publishing. If you're not familiar with it, kids cannot die. You play teenagers for the most part. Anybody older than 16, 17 that gets into Tales from the Flood, in which case they can die. The older you get, the less skill points, luck. The less luck you have, right? So as you're younger, you get less skills but more luck. As you get older, you get more skills, not as much luck. It's called The Three Sisters was the scenario. What's up, Accidental Rob? Good to see you. So some of the folks in the chat, Rob, are talking about the question du jour, which is probably veered off from there, but do you run a Halloween game? If so, what system, what scenario, and how long have you been doing it? If you don't run a Halloween game and you would want to, what system and scenario would you run? No books, off books Thursday game. Was that Thursday? Oh, man, my days, I tell you. So I'll get to that. God, Jesus, guy. Rob says, I absolutely do, and it was last night, and it was Delta Green. Booyah. Good job. What scenario, dude? So, Tales from Loop, good game. Problem, it was like the weirdo, tech nerd, jock, that was me, failed. He's on the verge of failing 8th grade a third time. And then there was another one. I can't remember what archetype they were. And then there was the leader. And all of us were adults at the table except one. One was a teenage kid at the table. And the teenage kid took on the role as a leader. And the leader is kind of the talky talk. They're the face. Well, I think the teenager was probably a little intimidated. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they're just shy. But regardless, they were the most reserved at the table. I tried pulling them into the game because they were playing my ex-girlfriend. My character's ex-girlfriend, not me. Come on, guys. And then we had the tech nerd kind of doing a lot of the stuff, which was fine. It's great. Like, not a big deal necessarily, but it does create a conundrum that I've run into a couple different times for one-shots. And that is when people get to pick their characters and then they play against type, right? I'm sure Brett and I have talked about this in the past. He's talked about it like, I know that he was talking about a Call of Cthulhu game that he was running and somebody wanted to play a boxer. So you have like the archaeologist, the debutante, the cop or investigator, and then you got this boxer. Like, where does this boxer fit into the group? It wasn't that. It was what happens if you're like, this person is obviously the leader, but they don't lead. And then somebody else who is like the character is supposed to be, I don't know, the tinkerer. and they end up being the leader. Like, even though the character strengths will lend itself to be, and granted there's some cross pollination, but I'm just wondering. So I talked to my buddy Eric Frankhouse, who's not in the chat at the moment, I don't believe, and he's like, you just tell you ask him the type of character, like, have you played this game? What type of character do you like to play? Do you like talking? Are you kind of the leader type? Tell me about your last character or last game or whatever. What role did you fill in the party? And then giving them that character. Because, good segue, I want to ask my buddy Eric Frankhouse. No, come on now, Laramie. I happened to have a conversation with Eric telling him this, and he's like, well, one way about, okay, so I'll ask you this, Laramie. Do you assign characters at your con game? I think that's an issue with trad games. That's maybe true. Harrigan says, I've tried assigning characters for long-term campaign play in my very first GURPS game. Worked really well. It, in fact, did not work really well. It, in fact, blew up the gaming group. Laramie says, nope, and I agree. It can be hard to get people to lean into those roles. And Tim says, is that a problem? I'm guessing to my point. Maybe. I guess not. I don't know. Especially with pugs. Is it a problem? That's a good question, Tim. Like, is that a problem? Like, are you just overthinking it? I could be, for sure. But what if there's something on the sheet that the character has a strength and you're, as a player character, reserved to the point where you're not, I guess the question is are you playing the character or being true to the character if you're playing it differently than the character should be? I don't know. Jim says, I think if you've signed up for a game with that sort of archetype setup and don't lean into it, you're in the wrong game. Tim says, some people will consider assigned roles as a form of railroading. Yeah, I mean, there is discussion that can be done around this for sure, because I see both sides of the argument. And I've often rolled, and it's usually with these types of games. Like Hobbs says, it's usually trad games. I don't know about, maybe, but I don't run into this into 5th edition necessarily, because I don't make up leader type. Like anybody in a D&D 5e game could be the leader type, honestly. Could the thief? Sure. Who's got the highest diplomacy skill? The near the face, huh? But I think it's some games, like even Delta Green, maybe not. Like I think you can Delta Green, the archetype may not matter. Cthulhu, like it's specifically Tales from the Loop, I think, because they are archetypes and they are in a box. They're usually put in there is leader. Like that's an archetype. I don't have leader in Delta Greed. Somebody usually fills that role, whether they're good or bad, honestly, which is fine. Laramie says, I'm going to be the first person to get kicked out of Sean's YouTube for goading. Not at all. Not at all. Hobbs says, I was asking a question. Is it a bigger issue with modern games, which creates particular roles? Probably. Possibly. Harrigan says, people need to play with Matthias Johnson Hakey. I can't remember how Hake. Sean, he makes you read the sheet and lean in with that stare, but I bet you might get to that. Right. So transitioning to, I haven't forgotten about you, Hobbs. Just relax, dude. So Saturday, final answer. Saturday, another game we run, I play is what Harrigan says, Matthias Johnson Hake. Hockey. God, I gotta find out how to pronounce his last name. Matthias's game. So Matthias is the creator, one of the creators of Symbaroum. Flew all the way in from Sweden, ran a couple games, was a charity game, and he had asked who had played the game. And out of the 4 people, Harrigan was in that game along with 2 others. And the other 2 had not played the game. And so because we have played the game and know a little bit about the setting, he basically said, I want you to play this person and I want you to play this character. And then the other 2 were very clearly supportive roles. In other words, and I'll even set this up. Harrigan's character and my character were siblings that had been apart for 20 years. Okay. And the scenario was setting it up to be reunited. And then each other character, so the person to my right was a witch that I had kind of part of my clan and a friend of me, of my characters. And then Harrigan's sitting to his left at the table was an orc. Orc, right? Ogre? Orc? Bodyguard. Okay. So very, very clearly, like, you 2 are kind of the main focus of this scenario because you guys are you get a letter from your aunt, and that's where it kind of takes off. But I think he did that. Matthias did that because Harrigan is right. Like, he's like, okay, now we're going to take time and you're going to read the back. We'll be quiet. Read. There is important information on the back of your sheet. And it was like, I think Harrigan said like 400 words, as a decent, amount of text. Because he was so deep into the lore. Like we plunged into the deep end. So if you don't know the world and you don't know the dynamics, and admittedly, like, even playing, I've played once, twice, maybe once, not like, oh, I've read all the books and know all the history and all of, I know the dynamics of the overall gist of the campaign, but if it had been flipped, some of that might have gotten lost in the convention game. Anyways, so my thoughts are, how many of you run a one shot? You put the characters like a convent. You go, okay? First of all, do you run a convention game? If you run a convention game, I imagine most of us just put the character sheets, pre-gens, right on the table. Unless, of course, we do character gen at the table, which takes a little time. Some games make it pretty quick. Hobbs's game, OSE, off grid, Thursday night, table of like 8 people, 8, 9. Very good game. Jim was in that. Harrigan. Gabe was in that. I think, who else? I think that was all that was in the game that were of this group. Luau Lu, Brian, Trevor. I think that's it, right? Did I miss anybody? Hoos was in it. Yeah, that was right. Hoos is so quiet. Hoos was in it. Good game, right? Solid. Rolled up the characters, 3d6 down the line, no elves. Let's get rocking and rolling, right? Thieves, this plus your decks. Let's make it happen. And no Gabe? I thought Gabe was there. Oh, Gabe didn't show up till Friday. You're right. Got Hoos and Gabe mixed up. It's good. Had some spectators. Pretty amusing. So anyways, made up characters, OSE, good time, fun, couple 3 hours maybe. A lot of utility spells, yeah. A couple guys died. Oh, your hirelings, oh, now they're player characters. Instead of fleeing at the first sign of danger, you come back and now you're in the thick of things. But how many at a con game who doesn't have character creation in the moment Victor did that for Twilight 2000, so I applaud him for that. But if you just throw them on the table, are you worried about like somebody fulfilling the leader type role? Now, it's usually sometimes these leader roles, non-leader roles, whatever, um, they don't matter because they're not. It's not that defined. Like the leader will come out of the pool of player characters. It could be insert archetype canned player character here, and then they become the leader because the player just steps up and starts making decisions. Victor says, I was in Craig Brown's Alien game last weekend, and he asked me to play the kid. That kid was loaded down with info about the station that none of the convicts, the other characters, had. It was fun. I mean, that's another point. Like, is there a player character, as from a game master perspective, that plays a pivotal role? And the game master needs the person to be engaged. And if you have the wrong player character taking on the player, how will that affect the game experience at the convention table? So, case in point to Victor, we're not even talking about leader type. He's just saying your character knows these certain things. And you could tell like, hey, I don't know you, but here's the deal. These are things you know, and it would behoove the group for these things to come out during play. Victor could have like, okay, yeah, I see all those things. They're great. And then just sit on them. I don't know. So then the question remains like, well, Sean, you're going to run Music from a Darkened Room on the 4th for Halloween for 4 players, right? I think Jim's in that game amongst a few others. So how, like, am I concerned about it? No, because I think anybody in Delta Green can become that leader type. It's almost like, hey, you're the scientist, but you don't do anything scientisty. Like that's, you end up being like, I'm going to grab a gun. Like, hi, I'm the nerdy scientist, but I'm going to go around shooting everything. But your shooting skill sucks, but you still don't care. Like, it's just playing against type. So I just scratch my head when people pick a particular character class and they don't play that class. Oh, you're the magic user, but you don't cast spells. Got it. Oh, you steal things and unlock doors. That doesn't make any sense. I don't think it's as defined as that in some fantasy games, but I don't know. I mean, I think that happens, and it probably happens. It might happen more than we think, because we probably think it never happens. Get the thief, get the rogue. That's what they're supposed to do. Yeah, sure. Where am I left F on the chat? You guys have like left me in the dust here. So I'm not going to go back into the backlog, but let's see if I saw anything. Jim says, I had to prod the ranger to open doors, and they lead the way in the S&W game Gabe and I played in. The table kept trying to get me, the thief, to be in front. Jeremy says, I should tell people to read their sheets. Who's can vouch? I didn't do that. And there was magic items on the back. Yeah. Well, there's always that, right? Like, you should probably look at your sheet. I mean, Matthias did that to us. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a 1d8. No, not really. I think you got your own character sheet wrong. Yeah, whatever. You know the deal. Laramie, you don't like the spells I choose? Pick different ones. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Michael Spreadman. Yeah, that's right. He was to my left. Excuse me. Oh, let's see. Harrigan, I do think for what Sean and perhaps EF are talking about, There are some games where people sticking to and reinforcing the role archetype can really matter, like Jim said above, for sure. Jim, maybe the difference between trad fantasy classes and archetypes in something like Tales from the Loop is that the former doesn't determine how characters relate to each other, just what they do. There isn't a leader class in D&D. Agreed. Harrigan says caller, though? Yeah. Caller, I think, is at the meta level, isn't it? Jim's like, meh. See, I think caller's just at the meta level. Who's going to be the guy who stipulates what the party does, what direction they go? So is it through it? Because I think the party comes to a consensus, but the caller doesn't have to be the leader of the party, but they can be the caller. That makes sense? I don't know. That's just me. Orcus Dorcas, it's totally crapshoot unless you happen to know someone at the con who is at your table that you can hand the key PC to. Not if you ask the questions, though. That's the point. Like, okay, hey, what's your name? Scott. Hey, Scott, nice to meet you. I'm Sean. I'm going to be running this game. Have you played this before? No, yeah, I played it once. Okay, cool. What do you remember? What scenario? What character did you play? I played the leader type. How'd that go? It was okay. Okay. So did you have fun playing the leader? Not really. Like the party kept looking at me for making decisions, and sometimes I'm not that guy. So especially at a con game, I'm a little shy, and I want to kind of lay back in the weeds, and I kind of want to go with the flow. Note: don't give Scott the leader archetype. Like, what's the type of characters you like to play? Tell me about your last game. Were you like that? I mean, you could get it out of them a little bit. What type of characters do you like to play? Are you like a sword and board, kick in the door, action type? Are you methodical? Are you the role player? Like, start whipping out all the tropes, right? Are you the role player? Are you the thespian? Oh, you like to role play. Great. You're going to play the bard. Here you go. But I don't want to play the bard. I always play the bard. Wonder why. You play the fucking bard. And then Ryan says, yeah, leadership's a feat in some of those. See, so then you get into, well, Sean, there's a difference between the player and the character. And that's why there's feats. And that's why my character has an 18 intelligence and I have a 10. So my character is actually smarter than me, and he would know that. So you need to consider that as game master. Because they're going to know the answer, but I, as a player, may not. Which is true. Sure. Victor says the convict started the game right next to the exit, and the kid was the only one who knew it. Okay, that's some knowledge there. Jim, wouldn't know. I skipped out of the 3-5 area, but I mean, there's fighter, magic user, cleric, thief, and whatever else, but one of those could be the party leader. For sure. Yep. Nowadays, it's totally acceptable that a barbarian identifies himself as a wizard. Oh, goodness. There's some people that are just askew. True. Tim says sometimes they just want to play against type for the experience. Sometimes it's just a bad/inexperienced player. Yes. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is, can we minimize the risk of that? Or stretching themselves, trying something new, for sure. In the end, Eric Frankenstein house is crazy. Do not assign roles. Eric Frankenstein house. He does have the 'tis the season to mash his name up, for sure. And yeah, Wayne put his finger on it. Oh, I gotta go back to Wayne. Where'd Wayne? Where's Wayne's bout of wisdom? Oh, yeah, I must be way back there. Victor says the caller was the one who related the player plans, moment by moment, to the GM. Yes. Don't forget to smash that like button. Good. Ryan, way to go, buddy. Before you take off, smash the like button. Do me a favor. I'm very much appreciated. Thank you. And if you're not subscribed, why not? If you want to get notified when these things go live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Central Time, make sure you hit the bell. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. The game went well. But sometimes it could even be like, you can't really do this player has that, this player has that, and then somebody may overlook those items. Like if you assign magic items to each one and you get into a position, you're like, Sean, who's playing Chuck? I am. You might want to look at the bottom of your character sheet. Oh. That happens all the time in a con game, I think. Oh, there's 6 lines up. What? I don't know where Wayne's comment is. What about your cyborg adventure? It's good. It's good. Did it happen? In the cyborg adventure? Did this happen? No. We did not play this past week, cyborg. We were scheduled, but we were man down. So we are postponed. Next week we'll be playing STA. Reminder to all the STA group. It's gonna do some mini scenarios. Dorcas, there's a lot of people today, Sean, so Down on Vanilla Coke can keep up. I know, right? It's a good crowd. Appreciate it. All right, so what else? Tales from Loop went well. Saturday game, Matthias playing Simbaroom. Lots of lore. Wow. Good game. Great experience. Hobbs is Off book game. OSE, fun. And I think that was it. Twilight 2000. Played Twilight 2000. And watching Victor play and run Twilight 2000 for a group on Sunday. My game master, nice guy. Good group. Okay game. Different type of role-playing game, for sure. My game master didn't go into a lot of nuances. As a matter of fact, I was I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's roles, like certain people, player characters, like in Forbidden Lands, you have somebody scout, you have somebody, scout, lead the way, right? You go to the next hex, you give me a roll. There's nothing to see, you do not need to roll. Oh, there is something to see, you need to roll. There's certain things that people are doing when you move from hex to hex. My game master, everybody roll. And it was And then there was some other nuance. Like I said, very nice guy. But there's stuff missing off character sheets. Some of the stuff wasn't clear. I did enjoy myself. The scenario was good. I think it was one of a 3-parter. I don't know if it was the first one, but it was a 3-part series that he was running. And he didn't want us to write on the sheets, which is not a big deal. We'll just write on the side. But I only say that because if there was something missing, then we would want to ink it in. Yeah, you have similar roles at T2K, right? But he didn't do that. He didn't break them out. So it was very much to me, here are the different types of people you're playing. What do you guys want to do? Okay, everybody give me a roll. Okay, you're going to move to the next hex. Okay, sounds good. Everybody give me a roll. That's not how it's supposed to be kind of run. There was a couple other incidents where I was I think I told Harrigan at the table when Victor called out something, and I'm like, yep, my guy did not do that either. So I think it was more of a, how do I put it? A streamlined approach to running, which is not bad. You could still have a good con game doing it that way. But I was hoping to get more of the lowdown on T2K. Like I probably learned more about the game listening to Victor run the Twilight 2000 game. For sure. I think that's yeah. Yeah. Tim Jensen, Forbidden Lands reminds me of some of the D&D games I played in the very early 80s. Hex-crawling, random encounters, and busted rules. I don't think the rules are that bad for Forbidden Lands. But it's an homage. That's why I bought Forbidden Lands. Literally the only reason I bought it was an homage to old school hex crawl exploration. I'm like, I'm in, I gotta check this out. Got it, and I enjoy it. Not the game for everybody. At least these roles in Forbidden Land can be performed by anyone. In Mutant Year Zero, these roles are archetype based. Oh, interesting. Did not know that. I have not played Mutant Year Zero. So the goal of Gamehole Con for me was to play games I haven't played before. And like, dudes, I'm a big Free League shill. I have not played some Free League games. The freaking Tales from the Loop game was the first Tales from the Loop game I played at Gamehole Con. And it was the first Free League game I've ever bought. And that's been out for years. So there you go. NBA, interesting. I've played it. I see the Trail of Cthulhu things coming back to me. Yeah, it's good. I like the premise. I'm still the jury for me is still out on the gumshoe system. Jim, weren't you in my Forbidden Lands game? I thought you ran it with you were a player in that. Anyways, yeah. I think when I run a con game, I just have to set it up depending on what the game is. There's an archetype. I don't know. Like if you're expecting certain things to happen with a particular player, like a player character, either you have to convey that to the player ahead of time, maybe ease it out of them in play. I don't know. I don't think it's as big a deal in some games, for sure. Like 5e doesn't matter. Like, yes, there's a leadership feat, but meh. What's up, Zweefer? Christian, morning. Good to see ya. Phil, lots of corpses, Harrigan, especially when the GM is one who likes to leave a trail of PC corpses in their wake, and I wouldn't have it any other way. What's up, Phil? So, yeah, back to normal after a convention. Victor said, I really enjoyed that about T2K game. Twilight 2000. Players in general don't like rank in games from what I've learned growing up playing. Well, that's a whole nother ball game. Like War Stories, you know, and that's a dilemma whenever if it's a military-based game, there's rank. There's ways around it. But that's also one to consider. Like, okay, you're the sergeant in a group of enlisted. And you're the highest ranking. What does that mean? Like, you can have a sergeant that's a bumbling idiot and not be a leader type. Yes, they have the rank. You don't have to respect the person. You always got to respect the rank, which could create another role-playing dynamic, right? And we're playing role-playing games. So it's not like, how true to life do you want this to be? The dilemma is. Tim says, certain characters are much, much better than others. I had a blood sorcerer with axe fighting. He totally outclassed other PCs. It's not really an issue if you don't take it too seriously, for sure. Sweefer says, our game of never going home at the con went over that. Nice. Christian, still having post-con blues. Had such a great time there. Glad to see you. Glad you and Jen can make it up, buddy. Phil, would you run Tales from the Loop after playing? Did it create an itch? Same with T2K. Yeah, I would run Tales from the Loop. Yeah, there's some people that are very adverse to like, I don't want to play a teenager. It doesn't make any sense to me. Bah. I don't play teenage games. Which is fine. I would certainly run it. I like the scenario. I like the dynamic at the table. I think it's also a game where you kind of have to ham it up. Like I was a knucklehead jock. Like I was dumb. And I played dumb. And with that comes a little comedic relief, I think. And I don't know. I have interesting memories of the 80s. That's another thing too. Is like the the teenager that was playing at our table. It would have been just funny. Like I wonder if he's getting all these like there wasn't a ton of 80s references necessarily, but Craig did a really good job of like laying out the 80s that never was. Like hover machines and robots. And people are like, "Oh, robots," but usually they're wired, right? They have a remote control with a wire attached to them. So it's like there's a hint of futuristic, but some of these robots are rusted, and some of them are machine based, like they have a purpose. And then the weird things that happen at the loop. But I would totally run Tales from the Loop. I think it's a fun game. I like the mechanics. It's very easy. If you push, you take a condition, you check a box. Keep going. If you recuperate, you got to go and talk to Mrs. Johnson or whatever. Kind of bring yourself back down to earth. Orcus Dorcas, I've recently read through several of Never Going Home books. Seems fantastic. Would love to play it. XNL Rob, I created my own custom loop for a previous game I ran based on the small city I grew up near. That's what I would probably do too, Rob. Ben says, I love Tales from the Loop. Aaron, Demon Grinder, we're playing Tales from the Loop today. Fantastic. Is it a scenario that you're running? That somebody's running? Are you running, Aaron? Are you running it or are you playing it? So I want to know, Aaron, first of all, are you running or playing? And if you're playing, what are you playing? Because I know Aaron. Excuse me. I think it's a great game. Well, relationships are cool. I just think it hits so home for some of us Xers. Like it just does. We get it. Latchkey kids, curfew, what? Parents not really giving a shit like what we're doing as long as we don't get arrested. A lot of us we had dynamics, right? Like I know those guys. I don't hang out with them, but I know them. If I was in detention with them, we'd commiserate, but I probably wouldn't want to be seen hanging around with them. Like there's all these weird teenage dynamics. But in an interbox scenario, a friend is running. So what are you playing, Aaron? First crack at playing it. What archetype? Maybe you don't know yet. Jim says, I have Tales from the Loop PDF. I should give it another read. I'll run it at Game BSRCon. I think I have the Foundry VTT for it. I've said that too before. Like, I'll run more stories at GameWorldCon and Feng Shui. And I don't. But I could run Tales from the Loop. I think it's a fairly straight. I could run the same scenario. I could probably do it from memory. Yeah, I like it. I think it is probably the least complicated of all the Year Zero engine games that I know of, that I've played so far. Won't know until you're playing until 3 o'clock. Okay. I'm interested to know next week what you end up playing. I kickstarted the Simon Stalenhag art books. And those isn't there a story? Somebody told me there was a story. Like I always thought they were art books, but I think it's like, isn't there a story based on that stuff? Jim, I'd play in that game. I got you, Jim. XNL Rob, so enamored with the vibe, I bought the RPG. I also have Kids on Bikes. I have the original and I got the second edition that's coming. Harrigan said, definitely the latest, for sure. Reporting back. Awesome. Okay, there is a story. Great. So yeah, Twilight 2000. Oof. I like the game, but it is a different vibe. Like, there might be role-playing if you get the right players at the table that kind of grok that, and you're kind of running, a short arc or a longer term. But make no mistake, it is tactical. War stories may even be more so, because it is World War II. And yeah, I think it was the stepping up, stepping down in Twilight 2000 that wasn't happening as much. That was another thing I think I picked out. All right. Whew. So there you go. There you go. I don't know where to start. Should we just ray gun? What did I want to bring up to you guys that I thought was kind of interesting? Yeah. What indeed? This okay. So we got some Borg fans. Oosh. Borg. Look, I got my move fixed. Smorgasborg. Or in this case, Smorgasburg. The flagellant and the fool add cannibalism to the world's darkest RPG. Morkborg can be surreal at times, but it's a doom metal of an RPG in its heart and its aesthetic, and now Smorgasburg dishes out cannibalism to it. That's right. Get it while it's hot. 17 pages of classes which range from the humble humanitarian to the fall from modest temple to worm. From the fall from the modest temple to worm. There are encounters at Hell's Kitchen, 7 restaurants, and 46 dungeon pages. Smorgasburg. Get the new drive-through. So if you want, anyone thinks Morkborg didn't already have cannibalism, I think they've expanded it, sir, is my guess. Why is this I see what's going on here. I don't know. Smorgasburg. And for those that are not fans of Morkborg or the Borg games, I don't know what to tell you. That's just one thing after another. That one is. What did I? Okay. I think this is where I started stuff for this week. We used up all the Borg puns for adventures yet? No, probably not. Not even close. You guys seen this thing? Create any world you can imagine on your tabletop. Kickstarter orders are open on Kickstarter. This is the sourcesystem.com. Dudes, I don't know. Borg is the new poo. Oh, God. There's the bait. There it is. There is. Whoa. Just turned on my screensaver. Come on. Wake up. Really? I can't get my screensaver to turn off? Well, that's going to. Wow, that's fantastic. I can't even see anything now. Oh, there we go. Wow. Talk about emergency systems. So inspired by the best world building experiences in both virtual and tabletop gaming, you have edges, hexes, tiles, build, destroy, and rebuild infinite worlds across any tabletop, open source tabletop gaming. I'm not a big fan of what is this game? HeroScape, right? HeroScape's probably a cool game. I don't know if I'd use it for RPG. Those hexes up and down, putting them all together. Being in a computer might be easy. I don't know. Maybe this is Terraform Time Strike. I don't know. Maybe a lot of miniatures type games. This would be maybe pretty cool for BattleTech, right? It's so HeroClix for sure. Cheaper than Legos. It's got to be quicker, right? If you can do it on a computer. I don't know how I tripped up across this, but the Fallen World, the Meek World. I don't know. Check it if you are so inclined. Collaborate on new games, rule sets, and customizations. Well, maybe it is like this is not computer. Like there's people standing there. So maybe these are actual things you build, like you buy. They're printed. Access print and play experiences designed on source. I don't know. Inspired? Yeah, I don't know. HeroScape for the win for sure. Okay, there you go. Wayne's a fan. Check it out. Like they're plopping it all down, but is it like it looks physical? Looks like you got the pieces and you put them down. It is a physical product, Caverna says. Boom. Decision is made. Yeah. Oof. I don't know. Well, that's cool. Check that out if you're so inclined. This Kickstarter might be over. Might be over, man. Nope, it's got 21 days to go. Beyond Dread Portals. This is out of the UK. It's funded. It's got 21 days to go. 100 backers. It's by Newport. Game of World Hopping Fantasy by Paul Michener, author of Liminal. Easy to learn rules, built from a core loosely based on the world's first fantasy role-playing game, tailored to the setting. Step into the worlds of Wise. At the center of the game is the city of Wise, a Baroque fantasy city which rules 3 different worlds. These worlds vary in nature, some being Earth-like and others less so. The empire that controlled these worlds has now been invaded and subverted by the monstrous Autarch. Life may seem normal with wise guilds and noble families scheming against each other for power, but the city, like its ruler, is becoming grotesque and decayed. At the heart, Beyond Dread Portals is a D20 class level-based game with modern features. It's probably like the Black Cat, probably. Well, go check it out for Pete's sakes. Newt is awesome and Paul doubly so. Orcus Dorcas' stamp of approval. I can't back it. Sean didn't drop the link. I just did. Ryan West, nice try. Nice try. Nice try. Let's see. What is this? Oh, I don't know. So we have a zine forum now. People wanting to know how to like make zines or something. I don't know. Jim threw it up on our Discord. Whatever that's about. If you're interested, check it out. But this goes to that. The RPG Zine Club. I guess, like, are you part of the RPG Zine Club? Or is it the RPG Zine Club? It's the RPG Zine Club. You guys see this before? Join the club. Play more games, discover new designers, get free pizza. Free pizza? What? Zine Club is a new subscription membership by Plus One Experience, or Plus One EXP, and a global community of indie RPG designers. As a club member, you get fresh new zines each month in 3 great flavors, an online community of conversation and play, lowest price on each zine, the best of new and known creators, transparent control over your membership, and to help transform how indie RPGs get made. Each zine we release is a title that has never been in print before. Curate the content 6 months in advance so you always know what titles are coming, and so our layout and art teams work with creators, partner with creators excuse me, to transition their project seamlessly to print. You have 3 flavors of membership: stories, adventures, and all of the zines. Get some featured on here. Z-knees. What's Z-knees? Send you a piece through the mail. Indeed. It's pronounced zine, you plebe. So get your zines from here. Zinies. Yeah, they taste scrumptious. So it looks like the adventure membership is $18. Stories is $18. All the zines is $34. And then the game stores could become members at $50. Not a bad thing, right? I don't know what the model is. This has got to be kind of a tough model, right? Like each zine is going to be X dollars plus shipping. I don't know. So check it out, zine lovers. Zine lover. I don't want a zine no more. Whatever. No. Transparent membership control. You can adjust the frequency, pause, add or remove items for the month's delivery. What about the pizza? So you want that free pizza? We know you do. As a member of Zine Club, you can purchase our exclusive Zine Club RPG Passport. The Passport is a tasteful place to document and reflect on the games you read and play from Zine Club and beyond. If you fill out a passport, you can bring it to any in-person convention or event our team is at. We will confirm and stamp the back of the passport and give you free admittance to the Plus One pizza party we are hosting at that event. There you go. Or buy you a slice at lunch. Or you can email us a picture to get a free copy of Terrific Tony's Pizza Patrol. In the future, we'll be rolling out more robust loyalty program, but pizza will always be an option. Or it says, but pizza will always be an options. Pizza will always be an options. All right, then. There you go. Get some zines. Got some zines. Give me some zines, man. Gun belt. I thought this had come up before. Did we tackle this before? Load, browser, load. 20 days to go. There's been talks of westerns. Some westerns. Deal with Lead. Aces and Eights. Deadlands. The Gun Belt. Alien robot cowboys ride dinosaurs across an interstellar Wild West in this new tabletop RPG from Geekster Games. Got a ways to go. $5,800, so $20,000. This place is, they've created 5 Kickstarters. They've backed 60. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's not True Western. All right, check that out. If you're interested, see what else we got going on here. They had a long ways to go to get that funded. Whoa, boy. Bastion Lands. You guys getting in on this? Mythic Bastion Land. Special early access Mythic Bastion Land RPG Quick Start Preview. If you get in there, check it out. 2,700 people. Think it'll fund? It's coming to Backer Kit. Backer Kit. Gotta walk the dog. See y'all later. See you, Jim. My brain went Zine Weaver. Zine Weaver. Help me through the night. So this thing's launching in 10 days on Backer Kit. It's the precursor to Into the Odd, right? Right. Ned Ryerson. This I thought was cool. This is not RPG, but you guys may be interested. Collected Fantasy Ink Drawings by Luke Eidenschink. Hero draw black and white Eidenschink. Book collects my best ink fantasy drawings in a 150-page volume. It's funded, doubled the amount. First created, he's backed one. Given some of his art, I would commission this guy. Kind of like the style. To me, that seems very AD&D. I'm going to play Cavalier. This is what my guy looks like. That dude's in a lot of trouble. So check out his Kickstarter. A lot of hatching. Wow, that looks kind of cool. Looks cool. Mushrooms. Mushroom. There you go. You can get in at $40. You get one copy of the art book. 8.5 by 11, 150 glossy pages. But you're going to look like a sharp book. All right. Moving on. Let's do this. Typhon Games? You guys heard of Typhon Games? They're new. Typhon Games launches with starts with When We Die. So Ben Graybeaton of Nightfall Games and project lead on RPGs such as Stokerverse and Terminator. Jason Huda, a freelance illustrator on Star Wars, Marvel, D&D, and Legend of Five Rings, and Gary Harper, who's worked with Modifius and Son of Oak, have founded Typhon Games. All right, so 3 folks that have been in the hobby, in the industry for a while. And their first one's going to be a zombie survival game, When We Die. Release schedule is a pattern we'll be familiar with. A quick start first, slated for early 2024, and a Kickstarter to follow. So this is the article. to what they're doing and who they are. And then this is their corporate website. Check them out. How to play, when we die, the RPG, 3 time periods. Stay updated. Get on their email list, what we do. Press inquiries, meet the team. So there you go. Good luck to Typhon Games. Excuse me. No. Let's get through. Oh my goodness. Okay, I gotta touch on this. This is pretty freaking crazy. Pretty crazy. I just want to say it's pretty. Did I say it's crazy? This is crazy. Do you guys know this? So some of us got wind of this. Critical Role, Wembley Arena, not stadium. Okay, there's a difference, but still, Critical Role played London's Wembley Arena. 12,000 people. Look at this. So, clarification on the stadium versus arena. 1934, next to the famous Wembley Stadium, Wembley Arena is UK's 9th largest indoor arena. It has hosted acts like Queen, ABBA, Beyonce, and Madonna. Dudes, they're playing. Are they still playing D&D? It's D&D, right? Doesn't matter. Role-playing game. Look at this. And you know what's even better? The comments. If I was a traditional entertainment company, I definitely want a piece of this, whether it's investing in an existing actual play or creating a new one from scratch. Guy responds. Morris responds. Amazon definitely agrees with you. HBO is too busy setting itself on fire, blah, blah, blah. But Netflix, mind-blowing. I'm trying to imagine this from the perspective of my 13-year-old self. I love that D&D and nerd culture are this accepted. And they go into who's picked media. Note CR is popular in large part due to the talent of the players, who are all professional union actors. There's already dozens of competitors out there, and not sure the market will support them all. There's no haters in this, right? Yes, most fast have many channels on the platform, sub-channels. Thank you, that's amazing. Truly amazing, and surely Amazon Cartoon helped propel them. Amazing, good for them. What a time to be alive. Was this a one-shot adventure? I mean, D&D players as modern rock stars. Wow. Should have let Duran Duran open for them to make it truly epic in my 80s teenage self. Depeche Mode? Crazy. 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 Cool crazy. Man, who would have known? Hey, when you're old, D&D is going to be so big that they're going to play it at Wembley Arena. 12,000 people are to purchase tickets to go watch it live. Get that shit out of here. You out of your damn mind. Victor, I could have imagined something like this happening when I was a kid. No. I'm sure they put on a good show. Orchestra, yeah. Accidental Rob, that's nuts. It's just I had to highlight it. We may not be big fans of the game necessarily, but still, come on. You got to give credit where credit's due. There are going to be a lot of haters. They're in the comments. And WotC wants to move the game to online play only. Yeah, well, Tim, it's going to be tabletop RPGs, D&D, computer. I think so. See you, Zwiefer. Good to see you, man. And thanks to Todd Zwiefer for bringing cider to GameholeCon. It was scrumptious. Very good. Homemade cider. The guy should bottle it, sell it. Yeah. Anyways. I'm sure that would happen if Forbidden Land Season 2 takes place, Caverna says. Caverna, I'm going to get your own. I'm going to get you your own shirt. Your own fan shirt. I just was like, what? I knew they were doing it, and then I just kind of blew it off. I didn't know how many would play, or show up. That's crazy. I don't know what to cover. We could do crowdfunding quick this week's. Takes to Ian World. Go check out Ian World. Worlds Without Numbers. Worlds Without a Number. This is just a reprint, offset reprint. So if you missed the first one, you want to get in on this, go for it. $80. As of today, it's got 3 days to go. So by the time you watch this, it might be gone. Maze Hunter diceless role-playing game. Mage Hunter, core rulebook, 35 pounds. No randomizer, our TTRPG. In Mage Hunter, you have a pool of action points. Want to succeed at a task? If you have a relevant skill and spend the points, you succeed. That's simple. However, your AP is your character's energy, and when they run out, they're out of the game until they recover. 141% funded. Derelict. I think somebody, Anubis might have pointed this out, was coming. He keeps up on a lot of the mothership stuff. Correction, Death in Space. Reading aid. How's everybody? Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Just doing some crowdfunding overseeing, whatever, highlighting. Orcus Dorcas RPG shenanigans. Well, for 500 plus VIP tickets, it better be more than 8 schlubs rolling dice on stage. I want a performative scripted play with some improv. Someone gave me a copy of the beta and it seemed a little dry. Worlds Without Number. Yeah. Apologies up front for all the folks outside the U.S. that've got to deal with like tariffs and shipping and all that stuff. So, Derelict Death in Space Adventure, not Mothership. €16, shipping and handling. The campaign. This is a campaign for it. It's third-party adventure zine from Christian Eichhorn. 48 pages, exploring, looting maps, 22 encounters. If you're a fan of Death in Space and want an adventure from one of the best zine creators out there, Derelict awaits you. Obviously, very funded. Next one, Chivalry and Sorcery, which Gabe, did you get in on this? If you're still there. Dux Bellorum. The Age of Arthur from Britannia Game Designs. It's for Chivalry and Sorcery 5th edition source book. I am in on it. There you go. Book expands Chivalry and Sorcery 5th edition, bringing you into the adventures of King Arthur. Written using the English names of the era, the source book imagines Britain after the Romans left. The time that saw the rise of the legend of Arthur. Dux Bellorum offers you the option to birth the legends that will shape our literature and lore for centuries. If you are a fan of Arthur and CNS 5e, check out this backer campaign. Feyborg. Oh, okay, it's getting a little much. Feyborg, the scary fairy folk metal RPG based on Merkborg. So this is a core rulebook, $36. Merkborg Fey. That's right. The Doom Metal TTRPG system is visited upon the Fey realm in a standalone game. Feyborg. Oof. Walking Dead's going to be good. Matthias is in on that. Matthias doesn't like working on a lot of IP stuff, he told us. It doesn't like dealing with a lot of the suits, apparently. A couple of Drakes where Roger says are good. They do good work, so check it out. But going back to Walking Dead, Says it's going to be one of their best. That's what he says. Should be coming out in November, right? Not far away. Vernon, you ran Walking Dead? Next one, Nyx, a dreamlike interpretive RPG from Dr. Glasgow. An original system core rulebook. As the author of a dream-based TTRPG, I'm a sucker for the other dream-based games. Nyx uses a tarot card system for play, inspired by settings of Kingdom Hearts, Earthbound, Sandman. This RPG has rules for ethereal, whimsical, and nightmare experiences. Coming at 236 pages. Includes core rules, 169 spells, 201 special abilities, 177 enemies, and more. Funded. Nice work. Reverend Werewolf. Here to tell you all about all new season Scream Zine. Scream Zine. Reverend Werewolf's Old-Timey Monster Mania Family Hour for Planet X Games. Levi Combs. Met him at Game Con. System neutral RPG zine, $20. He did Skull Kano, right? Skull Kano Island. Amongst other things Levi did. This thing will be funded for sure. He's got a good following. $3,000 of 2. Funded. So far, we haven't hit a 5e game yet, folks. Of all the IP RPGs that Free League has created, anyone want to rank their top 3? Oh, look at that. Sparking a little Free League. A little tickle of my Free League appreciation. That is a good question. I like that. I like that reading aid. I would say, I think Sean has a lawsuit pending for that werewolf's hair. Well, you know, I got grief at Gamehole Con. So that's another. I got to say at Gamehole Con, there was a moment. I was at the, what do they call it? The RPG Union or the Independent Union Publishers or Publishers Union. It's made up of like Jeff Tarkanian, Trelanian. What's Jeff's last name, for Pete's sakes? Apologize, Jeff. From Hyperborea. Jeff was there. Skeeter Green. I can't remember Skeeter's company. So he used to do work for a Frog God. Now he's doing his own thing. Skeeter Green was there. Levi Combs was there. There's like 2 other people. All the guys, bald. All of them, bald. I show up with my hair standing like 6 inches high. Just those guys. We had an interesting conversation, let's just say. It was funny. It was funny. Funny. It's quite. I should have got a picture with all of them. Camp Blood. Grindhouse horror tabletop role-playing game by Bloat Games. System is Survive This. $80. This mature gamer OSR sprays gore on the game table. RPG swims in the blood of the summer camp. Teen slashers done grindhouse style horror subgenre. Think Friday the 13th, Sleepaway Camp, Camp Slaughter, Fear Street the 2nd, 1978, they, them, all of which serve as the inspiration for this game. 175 to 200 pages. Book can be yours via this campaign. Good funded. Cocaine Owlbear. This hit the radar a little while ago, I think. Deluxe Snowblind Edition. Oh, this is the Deluxe Snowblind Edition. That's why. Fainting Goat Games. Core rulebook, $5 for PDF and print on demand. Don't do drugs with owlbears. Public service announcement. Aw, come on, Dad. Jacob Blackman drew a coked up owlbear, a parody of the Cocaine Bear movie. Mike Lafferty used that image as well as Grant Howitt's Honey Heist to make a game of drugs, theft, and the darkest of humor. You play as animals that attacked a thief, snorted their magic drugs, and decide to usurp their complex scheme to steal massive amounts of these drugs. And the game has spells. If you're looking for the definition of gonzo chaos at the table, an owlbear on cocaine might take the cake. Top tier right there. Yeah, it's fun. There you go. There you go. Good stuff there. No 5e. No 5e, right? I don't think I hit a 5e game. I'd buy it for the cover art alone. Rob, I think you can get that Cocaine Bear. Like the guy who did the art just did the art. That was it. So I'm sure it's on shirts that you can get online somewhere. That's a convention game. Well, that's another point. Like we were talking about Savage Worlds and Carl Kiesler's games, and it's like Savage Worlds is so good at mashups. Like what other game would you do a mashup? Goonies meets the Ghostbusters, Cocaine Shark. Like obviously, you know, Cocaine Owlbear has its own game, but print news is pretty brief. We'll go with print news. We'll go top to bottom. Savage Worlds, Fantasy Companions out. Maw of Oblivion, Fantasy Pawn Set 1. So there you go, Savage Worlds. If you're a fan, you probably already know this. Spire, City Must Fall Revised Edition. It's the fifth anniversary edition. Man, that's unbelievable. By any award-winning layout artist, Mina McJonna. Covers details on the districts, factions, and personalities that make up Spire, the frozen high elf kingdom of Amaranth, the lawless undercity of Red Row. Power Rangers, Renegade Games, $50. Jump Through Time. New options for PCs. Cubicle 7 puts out some Warhammer Fantasy, 4th edition, Soulbound. And then lastly, Deep Magic map tiles. Lots. Oh, and what I think these are, yeah. They're all map tiles, I think. Spell cards, maybe? 600 new and revised spells. Third class, Blanche Arcane and the Divine. So a lot of that from... Who's it? Kobold. Kobold Press stuff. That's it for print news. Welcome to the 100 Kilo Woods. Yeah. Pooh meets Cocaine Bear meets Paddington. Ooh. Oh, there's a game. Who wants to play Paddington? Who wants to play Pooh? Pooh doesn't have pants on? Oh, whoa. That's a mashup. Imagine the figures. I think I got to pitch Carl Kiesler this game. Hey, Carl. I don't know. He's got Cocaine Shark. I don't know if he would want to do Cocaine Bears. See, I think they did, like, Carl did Cocaine Shark. Harrigan really appreciated that. Like 3 set pieces, like 20 motorcycles, trailer park, diner. Very cool. Imagine the miniatures that would look like Winnie the Pooh whacked out. Oh man, you know what? I want to run a game hole next year. If I could get the, see you later, Tad. Good to see you. I'd like to do Gaslands. You guys ever play Gaslands? I'd like to run Gaslands. Just get a set, some cars, run Gasland game. Everybody that's played it has always had fun. I don't think it's overly difficult. Get some templates. Except the problem is you got to get set pieces. Now we know where Tigger gets his energy from. Yeah. Bouncing off his tail. Gaslands. What kind of prep do you need? Setup. Don't need to worry about party chemistry. I don't know. I'm not a set guy. I don't know. We'll see. BSRCon dudes, dudettes. Badge registration November 1st. Event submission starts November 1st. Try to get your in-event, if you're going to run, into the queue by December 1st, because then people could sign up for your event. So there's not any hard and fast deadlines, right? Because all that stuff's going to be open up until the event in January. But love to see some of you there. I don't know if it'll be as big as the previous years. Now that people are going face to face, they don't maybe feel compelled that they need to run online or play online. But I know we're a tight knit group and lots of good game masters. There's a guy that runs huge Gaslands games at the Colorado Cons, like 12-person games. Yeah, they're really cool if you get somebody that puts up the buildings and all the road debris and stuff. That would be cool. I'm not terrain guy. That's the only problem. And I really like that stuff. That would be cool. So yeah, BSRCon in January. I should probably send out an email like today or tomorrow to remind everybody. I'll definitely run one game. I don't know what. Maybe I'll run Tales from the Loop. The Three Sisters. That's a good one. I don't know if that's their pre-gen, like the free agent scenario that they have. It's a pretty decent one. Tons of respect for people who do that. I wouldn't have patience to make all that. I know. And I bet you got to make a ton, like all the barrels and stuff. And well, if you do flames, like the cotton with the fire in it and all that smoke. Some top-notch stuff. I don't know where I'd put it. I live in a small place. I'm like shelving to put all that crap on. Yeah, but happily play it for sure. What's BSRCon like? Where's it at? I'm new. So it's online, just virtual. You can join our Discord. It is kind of the central, like center of operations, if you will. But as people submit their games, they'll be able to pick whatever they want to play on. They want to use Discord, Zoom. We don't care. As a matter of fact, there's a field to kind of put that in. But we do assign a room from Discord so people can muster and go there. There's also a sign up like email sheet. I don't know if I have it. Let me see if I could find where to sign up for email. I should probably get that on this website. Oh, that's not it. I don't know. Bookmark that link at Tabletop Events. That's the site where you'll go to buy everything. It's $10, whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Start, Friday morning, depending on where the person's located. It's the 19th, 20th, and 21st of January 2024. Run around the clock for the most part. $10. We don't charge per event. So it's all inclusive, whether you show up for a day in one game or for 6 games. I donate half the proceeds. So if it makes $600, I donate $300 of it to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society here in the U.S. So we've had 50 events submitted before in the past. They're all over the place. We've had classic, D&D type games. We've had, I think, 5e games. We've had Savage Worlds. We've had, it's all over the place. We've had Harn. The amount of games and the different systems is crazy. Yeah, feel free, Rob. I would say don't get too crazy with amount of games and submitting. One year we were having a hard time filling games with players because we had so many GMs. So the community is very GM heavy. We obviously need games to be run, but I wouldn't get crazy I ran 2 games a day. The most, I think Lou out of New Jersey probably played the most one year. I think he played like 6 or 8 games. It was pretty crazy. Made a list of games I wanted to run at BSRCon 3 recently. It was at least 20 games. Yeah. So if you're wanting to play with other BSers, and we have a lounge that people kind of hang out in between games. Usually there's a little online soiree on like Saturday night or something. We'll run it. I'll just sit in there and kind of shoot the shit. 50, 60 games in like 40 to 45 different systems. Yeah, that's about it. That's about right. So, some don't fill, they just don't get a lot of traction. Some, so if you're going to run, I'd say submit 1 game. Don't get crazy, and then play like 2. I think is that the ratio? I got to figure it out. If everybody submits 1 game as a game master and plays the rest, like, it'll be fine. I anticipate it being pretty low in numbers. Not, I don't know, maybe. Badge register, because you can't register for a badge yet, Rob. It's not available yet. I haven't turned it on. That's November 1st at noon Central Time. Although I don't know why I have 404s. I think Conan's about played out in this crowd. I think I'll offer S&W a favorite with many here. Yeah, that'd be cool. What usually happens is we end up scheduling over the top of each other. So we're like, oh, Gabe's running S&W. Shit. I can't get there. I think you'd want to play more than a 2-to-1 ratio unless you only expect 2 players per table. See, Laramie, you're a math guy. Yeah. But yeah, it's a fun time. Some I know, like, we have one fan, Eric Salzweedle. He's like, he would want me to do this twice a year. He likes playing with the BSers and stuff like that. So lots of people in the Discord. It's one way where we don't all have to go to Gen Con to see each other or, spend a lot of money. Yeah, there are people for sure that don't run anything, and that's perfectly fine. Like, we need tables filled. But yeah, and there's people that they'll join the Discord only to play, they'll disappear. That's perfectly fine. So let's see if I can find the email list, because I think people should be on the email list. If I can remember what email I used. I should know the URL. Oh, I know what it is. It's a bit.ly address. That's why. bit.ly/BSer Con 3. That goes to tabletop events. That is not the one I want. Crap. I will put it on the website and in the Discord. There is an email list that people should probably sign up to, and then I can get them updates. I can't remember the address of it is. Shit. Not even going to try to guess. For what it's worth, I'd like to play more. I'm on dad time. Yeah, for sure. Nothing wrong with that. Watch we get this like weird, nobody's running games this year. All right. It's about time. I'm going to call it so you guys can get on with your day. Thanks for everybody that stuck till the end. Appreciate it. What do I got going on? Music from a Darkened Room next Saturday, a week from today, for 4 BSers. The Halloween special that's running during the day, probably right after this stream, actually. Next week, BSRCon badge registration event submission coming up November 1st. Star Trek Adventures I'm playing this Tuesday. I'm gonna go through some mini scenarios, iron out some mechanics, and do that. Then the following week will be Cyborg. Jeff My buddy Joe's back in town. There's talk of OSE and Castles and Crusades still. Not sure where that's going to be or where that's going to go. I still haven't given up hope on maybe doing West Marches. I said it probably wouldn't happen until after Game Hole. Well, now it's that, but so it hasn't left my brain. I think that's it. I think that's it for the most part. So everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for showing up. Hope to see you next week at Saturday, 8 a.m. Central Time here. You know, be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby. Move, learn, create, and take some time, to yourself, or spend time with folks that you appreciate. Otherwise, we'll see you later.